grand opening, grand closing.
What's up, everybody? Your only friend is YouTube Streets Porter Rock 77 back with a new video. Let's talk how Game Pass always had an uphill battle when it comes to being a success, right? So, as you already know, and everybody knows, Microsoft announced a price hike of up to 50% on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on its services, now making it $30 a month. And now, people who were advocates of Game Pass and the value that it brought are having a change of heart on the service. But that change of heart isn't so much because the service changed, it's because now they have to question whether or not the $30 a month is actually in line with what they considered value. Now, of course, you still have people defending the price hike, which I don't understand why there's so much defense. Xbox Game Pass as a subscription service is really the only service that constantly gets defended by the consumer. It's the only subscription service that constantly gets advertised by the very consumer that bought it. For example, when Netflix raises its price or when Disney Plus raises price, you did have some backlash and you had people that says I'm unsubscribing. And then that was pretty much it. The people who remained on Disney Plus or Netflix or HBO Max or whatever subscription service that raises price, they didn't go out to try and champion the price hike. Some of them said that yes, the price hike sucks, but a lot of their family members still use it, so they're just going to stay on it. But they didn't try to defend it. They didn't try to go out and say that it's still great value. In fact, you hardly ever hear anyone ever say how great of a value Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, or Amazon Prime, or any of the subscription services are. They don't really talk about that. Some are just stuck on it because of the vast amount of people that are on it. And those services specifically tend to be shared out. So multiple people have access to it, unlike Game Pass, where it's really just that one user and whoever plays on that box has access to it. But you don't see this huge fandom trying to sell Disney or Netflix and constantly defending it, especially against users who made the decision to unsubscribe. Well, let me show you an example of somebody who tries to, eloquently make Game Pass seem similar to the other subscription services as if it's the same, but there's more details to that. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So you have this user, Wagerman1974. He writes a tweet and says, current top tier subscription prices per month for streaming game services in the USA. Netflix $24.99, Disney Plus with Hulu, ESPN $24.99, Disney Plus with Max $32.99, Paramount Plus $12.99, Prime Video $14.99, Apple TV $12.99, Peacock Premium Plus $16.99, Max Premium $20.99. Now what he misses stuff is there's a lot of those packages that are combined that you get for 30 months. Like there's a Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Hulu combination for 30 plus, right? Prime Video is usually combined with being an Amazon Prime member, so you get free shipment. There's a whole lot of stuff, but it's okay, whatever. We're not going into details. And then he throws in Game Pass Ultimate $29.99, GeoForce Ultimate $19.99, and PlayStation Plus Premium $17.99. Value for all of these is dependent on each individual. They all gone up in the recent past. Look at each of the subscriptions you have and determine if it meets your definition of exceeding the price to value ratio or underperforming. It's up to the users. Well, for one, we all know that. Okay, so that's like, think this is one of those thank you, Captain Obvious. We all know that. We all know that value is beholden to the user, and that's exactly what's happening. When Microsoft hit that $30 price point, more and more people are now saying this does not provide value. So simply reiterating, value is up to you. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. No one needs to be educated on a customer deciding what they find value or not. Okay. The real education that should be talked about is why this is happening. Why now so many are no longer seeing Game Pass Ultimate as value the moment it hit that $30 price point. Well, to go back real quick and see this, we have to understand who this person is. And you can tell here he's probably a very big Xbox fan. As you can see from his background, this is an Xbox. He's all about the community with Xbox. He's very proud in having a profile pic with Aaron Greenberg. got the hat. So you can sense that right off the bat, someone that dedicated and that prideful to the Xbox brand, it's going to be a little bit of bias and is not really going to explain and have a conversation on why this is happening and why Game Pass is no longer looked at. So I'm going to help you with that because you could say, yeah, sure, Puerto Rico, you're a PlayStation fanboy, but there's one thing you can't deny, and this is probably why most of the time I'd be winning debates, is because I'm the most logical when it comes to this stuff. I bring logic to the conversation when most people don't want to. The best way I could explain why Game Pass had an uphill battle was because Microsoft probably didn't really understand what business they were trying to get into. Now, sure, you could say, oh, yeah, sure, Puerto Rico, like you know about a multi-billion-dollar business, all that stuff. Well, guess what? Businesses get it wrong. They get it wrong. They get a lot of things wrong that the average consumer can actually see because the consumer understands the needs, right? So from a consumer's perspective, we can see from the consumer viewpoint, like this is not going to work. You're not looking things actually from the perspective of the consumer. You're just trying to gain an opportunity to get, profit and money without really understanding what you're bringing out to the market and stuff. And Microsoft didn't fully understand. What Microsoft, really Xbox, saw was what other people were doing, and they thought they could do the same thing in the gaming market. They saw what Netflix did. They saw what Disney Plus did in the movie TV shows. They see what Spotify is doing in the music scene. So they thought it was applicable to gaming. And the reality is it isn't. You see, subscription services is all about consumption. That's really what it comes down to it, right? Do you have the products that consumers will mass consume and they're willing to consistently pay a lock price month after month after month, but they know that that price is worth it because of the mass amount of consumption they're going to have during that streaming, okay? So now let's look at that. Is Game Pass in line with that business, of mass consumption? On how would you say, on a conversational tone, like, oh, look at all the games Game Pass has, day one games from Microsoft, and then when you add it up, it actually seems like it's a great value simply just based on the concept of Game Pass. But the actual execution and reality of the service is a completely different. The best way I can put it is, let's use the time a subscriber can invest in I'm just breaking out a calculator here. But let's say the time a consumer can invest in consuming content on the subscription service, right? Versus what they pay for. Okay. So here's an example. We're gonna use we're gonna use 60 hours. Let's say a consumer has 60 hours to consume content on a particular service. We're going to use that time, 60 hours, right? Before I do that, I'll get to that. All right. If you have 60 hours per month to consume content, if you have a movie, TV show subscription like Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, any of those types, 60 hours a month, you can consume a certain amount of movies. Let's say a movie's 2 hours, just for the sake of math. That means you can watch 30 movies a month for the cost of what you're paying for that subscription, whatever, for that subscription service. Okay. And that movie is passive, is easily accessible. You can see it on your phone or you could tablet. You could just put on earbuds, sit back, relax, and you're watching 30 movies. If you're interested in TV shows, let's say each show is an hour, you can watch 60 episodes. Some seasons are now about 10 shows a season. So you can watch 6 seasons of shows per month. And again, it's a passive entertainment. You don't have to do much. All you got to do is just turn it on, listen, watch, and enjoy the show. So 60 episodes, okay? Let's say you have a movie subscription, right? And let's say, right? I mean, not movie, a music subscription like Spotify. Now we got to talk minutes. Let's say an average song is like 2 minutes. All right. So how many minutes are in 60 hours? So you got 60 minutes per hour times 60 hours. That's 3,600 minutes. So 3,600 minutes per month. Right. If you divide that by 2 minutes per song, you can listen to 1,800 songs per month, right? And songs are really easy to listen to. You can listen to it in your car while you're driving to work. You can listen to it on the bus. You can save it on your phone. 1,800 hours of content on Spotify. Spotify now also has podcasts. Okay. Again, if you listen to an hour of podcast, you got 60 podcast episodes that you can listen to, right? So you can see the vast amount of content that you can consume listening to music, watching TV shows, watching movies. But now gaming's different. So let's say you got 60 hours for Game Pass. Okay. Number one, gaming is active entertainment. So the amount of games you can consume is dependent on how well you play games and how well you can get through the games. Okay. So let's say on average, you play 20-hour games. That means at most, you can only play 3 games per month. And that's assuming you're able to get through the game in 20 hours. Because depending on your skill level and how well you play the game, a game can easily be 30 hours for you, 40 hours, especially if you play some bigger games like RPGs or sandbox type games. You could be on that game for 60, 70, 80, 90 hours. And that means the whole entire month, you only played one game on a subscription service that was meant for you to consume massive amount of content. And that's ultimately the issue with Game Pass. That's the uphill battle. You see, a lot of people now, because of $30 a month, they are actually now looking, what am I actually doing on Xbox? How much content am I actually consuming on Game Pass? That is what they're now reflecting. And a lot of them realize they're not really playing a lot of games on Game Pass. Sure, they may have downloaded the game and started the game and be like, oh, this is cool, but I'm not interested. Oh, this is cool. I'm not interested. Oh, I'm not cool. This is not interested. They may just select and give a taste, but what they're actually consuming, actually dedicated to play, actually seeing the entire content of the game, they're not doing that. You see, with movies, your skill or lack of skill, your active capability does not stop from you watching the whole movie. You simply hit play and you just let it move. You are guaranteed to watch the entire content of the movie, the entire content of the show, or the entire content of the song, unless it's really that bad and you just pause it and whatever. But your own skill level is not blocked. In order to see the entire content of a game, you have to actively pursue each mission or whatever the task is supposed to do. If you don't complete that task, you're not going to see the rest of the game. The entire content of the game is built on your ability to get to that point. Movies and music aren't like that, and TV shows and podcasts. You just hit play and you can enjoy it. Hell, you could do 2 things at once. You can hit play, watch a movie, and have your phone and keep up with the latest sports games. And you can do both at the same time, and they just keep going. There's a lot of flexibility to that, right? But gaming is active consumption. And when the price point hit a certain apex, now people are actually questioning, actually thinking, am I actually getting value from Game Pass? It's one thing when Game Pass was $10 a month. $10 is nothing. There are people who are subscribed to services that are like $5 a month and don't use it at all. Don't use it at all. Yeah, that's why they create apps now where you log into all your accounts and the apps tells you, hey, these are the subscription services. You're not actually using it. Cancel it and save yourself some money. You know those apps that help you save money and balance your budget? They will tell you, hey, you haven't watched Peacock in 9 months. No one has logged on in 9 months. You're not using Peacock. Stop wasting $5, $6 a month just because it's only $5. Save the $6. You understand what I'm saying? Some people just completely ignore any subscription service that's like $5, $6, $7, $10 a month. But when the subscription service hits 30, hits that price point where people are like, wait a minute, $30 a month, $40 a month, whatever, that's different. Now they start to actually review the consumption of that service. And a lot of these Xbox fans that was all about Game Pass, they took a hard look on the reality. They simply was no longer cheering the company because it felt good on the internet. It felt good being a Xbox cheerleader. It felt good just, being part of the community and being positive of a brand. Now reality hit. They actually asked themselves, hold up, do I actually play a lot of games on Game Pass? And they reviewed what they've done over the last couple of months, and they said to themselves, I actually don't really dedicate to play games on Game Pass. Some of them are like, I'm putting more hours on the games I bought that's not on Game Pass than the actual games on Game Pass. So simply saying, oh, Game Pass is great. It's $10 a month, $11 a month, reward systems. But they never actually ask themselves, am I actually using it? Am I actually playing the games? Am I beating the games? They didn't ask themselves that question until this price hike. And people actually reviewed and validated that Game Pass wasn't really a value for them. And at $30, nope. So that's why you saw this mass exodus of people just hitting the do not reoccur bill. They're unsubscribing from the recurring bill because it's a recurring bill month to month. They straight up say, nope, I'm turning off reoccurring billing. They turned it off. For a lot of people, this is going to be the last month of Xbox Game Pass for them. There are some people who still don't know that the price went up $30. So they're still going to pay $30 and still not use the service. They don't know. Over time, they're going to realize, wait a minute, something's happening when I'm spending more money a month. When they finally review and budget their monthly bills, they're going to see, oh, wait a minute, Xbox went up to $30. When did this happen? Oh, no, I'm unsubscribing. I don't really use it that much. Prepare for those users because those users are coming. There's people who are on Xbox Game Pass because they bought it for their kids or whatever reason. They're not paying attention, but eventually they will. They're going to see their bills go up. And it's not just going to be Game Pass. It's going to be everything across the board. Everything's more expensive now. So they're going to do a full review, a full budget. When they see Game Pass, $30, they're going to ask, even if it's their kids, hey, what games have you been playing? We just really play Fortnite and Apex. Do you need Game Pass to play Fortnite and Game Pass, Fortnite and Epic, Apex and all that? The kids are going to be like, no, it's free to play. That's what we mostly play. Do you like Game Pass? Like, what's on Game Pass? Like, if we play on our PlayStation, Dad, we really don't play on the Xbox. Good to know. I'm subscribing. And since you don't really play on Xbox, we could just get rid of it and sell it to somebody at a cheap price, especially when Xbox are expensive. If you sell or use Xbox Series X for $400, somebody will buy it. Somebody's going to buy it or use $400 Xbox Series X. You can make some money. Just putting it out there. That right there, well, the explanation I gave you is the uphill battle. Video gaming, right, as a subscription isn't a mass consumption art form. It's not. It's deliberate if you know what you want to play. And gamers know what they really want to play. Game Pass was fine when it was $10 a month or you got the dollar deal and all that stuff. Because again, the barrier, the investment, trying to figure it out is not whatever. $5.99, $10, whatever. But hitting $30, and it's not going to stop at $30. You already seen Microsoft raise the price on their console, like literally with the same year. They're going to raise the price again. Right? Within a year, that price is going up again. The main reason why the price will go up again, because the subscribers are not going up. Microsoft's been stuck at 35 million subscribers and it's going down. It is going down. They're not going to be at 35 million subscribers anymore. And if that number goes down, then guess which number has to go up? That's the price to compensate. So those who do remain on Game Pass, you're going to be paying even more, because you have to foot the bill for the people that left. So soon $30 a month is not going to be enough. That service is going to go up to $35 to $40, $45 a month. You want those big $70 games, and soon Microsoft's going to raise carte blanche games to $80. And if you don't want to pay $80 on every game, and that's the thing, do you really buy all games? I bought a lot of games this year. Not one of them has been a Microsoft game. I didn't buy Doom. I didn't buy Gears Reloaded. You know damn well if you've been following my channel, I will never buy Forza, so you could cut that out. right? I didn't buy Ninja Gaiden remaster. It looks cool, but most of those games are not day one games for me. Those are the games that I can wait for a sale. I could wait till those games are like $10, $15 drop price. Those games aren't like, oh, I gotta play this today. Even Oblivion remaster, it's cool, it's great, but I'm in no rush to play Oblivion remaster. I could wait. That game's on sale, $15, Black Friday, easy. I could get it. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the games, it is what it is. All waitable. They're all waitable games. They're not like day one, like Ghost of Yotai and stuff like that, right? Which I bought, but I'm studying for my PMP. Different conversation, right? Sorrows, I'm buying that day one. Wolverine day one. Grand Theft Auto, third party day one. You know what I'm saying? Xbox games ain't day one. For me, the day one Xbox games really would be a new Elder Scrolls, a new Fallout, non multiplayer stuff. But that's a different conversation. But as you can see from a lot of gamers, they unsubscribed. A lot of them left. Now they didn't leave Xbox; they're still going to play Xbox games, but Game Pass is not a value for them. Microsoft hit the price point where now people are actually questioning what they have done, what they have played. Are they actually investing the time? And the answer is unequivocally no. In fact, very few gamers will be able to invest that much time in so much content. Not saying there isn't any, but a lot of gamers won't, right? Because again, gaming is a very active form of entertainment, right? It is not as easy to mass consume entertainment for gaming as you can mass consume entertainment in movies, music, and TV shows. So if you got 60 hours a month, right? And keep in mind, my example is based on 60 hours a month per service. In reality, you might have 60 hours a month for everything in total. That means you have to split your 60 hours across gaming, music, and movies. And more often than not, a lot of people will consume more movies and music versus gaming, right? And the reason why is some people enjoy music and movies with their family or the environment that they're in. It makes it easier to access movies and music. For example, if you drive to work every morning and you drive home from work every morning, right? You're going to be listening to music or a podcast all the time. You're not going to be playing games while driving. You understand? So that's number one. Number two, you're going to come home, maybe with the kids, maybe with your wife, whatever, and just want to spend some time. What's the easiest way to spend time with them? A lot of them watch movies or music. Now, there are families that spend gaming time. If you have that environment where the family is more about gaming than movies and music, Game Pass would be great for you. You all get together, you all spend time, and everybody's like, yep, everybody, let's get on our gaming platforms, let's play some games together. Yeah, Game Pass would be great for you because you're consuming something together among the time, right? But how many families are like that? Probably not a lot. Game Pass always had an uphill battle. And the worst mistake that Microsoft did was making that the platform. Let's be honest, there is no Xbox. It is Game Pass. Game Pass is the platform. Xbox as a platform is dead. It is absolutely dead. It was a legacy name that they're only keeping around because it's familiar, but in reality, Xbox is dead. That name is gone. You got Microsoft Game Studios and you got Game Pass. That's what you have, right? If Microsoft Future is a publisher, it's Microsoft Game Studios. That's what they are. And if you want to talk about a platform that people can jump on and play games, that platform is Game Pass. Xbox, that name is dead. They're just keeping it alive because it is a legacy name that people recognize. But in functional use, it is dead. It doesn't mean anything, right? They diluted the name. Now anything's Xbox. Is this device an Xbox, but it doesn't play this? They destroyed the name. That name of Xbox is dead. You got Microsoft Game Studios and you got Game Pass, which is the dumbest move Microsoft made. Microsoft really killed their own brand. Only the most hardcore fanboys are trying to resuscitate a dead corpse. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Your only friend is YouTube Streets Porter Rock 77. Thank you so much for being here. And if this is your first time, I invite you to subscribe, stick around, and join the community. I would like to see you every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 60 Frames No Light Podcast. And I do also a Friday night live show at the same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where I usually get a guest or I do a disagreement day to allow the community to come to debate me or have a conversation with me. And you know what? We might add an additional podcast. Who knows? It's very flexible, but I'm glad you're here. If you're new, subscribe. Everyone, please hit the like button and share this out. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for rocking out. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. I'm out of here. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.